Welcome back to the Hero's Journey podcast. We're on episode number 44, looking at Golden Age comics. We are into October of 1944. Lots of fun and goodies there. And last episode, I tried new format where we'd be looking at the comic prices at the end of the episode. And I'm going to continue that this episode, but I've got it so it's prettier. How about that? So it's going to be even prettier, make more sense. Hopefully you guys like it. And it kind of lets you participate a little more. I guess you can kind of guess what the big book of the week is. So as I run through the comics, try to think in your head, I wonder what this comic might sell for. And I'll tell you at the end. All right, so here we go. See what 10 comics we've got this week. Okay, so first up, we have Batman number 25. This is from November of 1944. It's a DC comic. It's an awesome cover. Nice black cover. I gotta imagine this is really tough to get in high grade without any spine ticks or color rub. But yeah, this is a pretty impressive cover. I love it. Okay, I'll just run through the stories real quick and tell you. Batman and Robin are up against the Joker and Penguin after they break out of jail and pool their resources. So this is the first meeting. This is the first team up of Joker and Penguin. So you got a nice appearance of those two guys in this issue. The next story, Batman and Robin help a sheik exiled in Gotham take his rightful place as head of his Arabian tribe. And then the Alfred Solo story, he catches a thief while under the hypnosis of a stage magician. Batman and Robin learn about erecting electrical towers and then catch some copper thieves. This, I don't know, this book's got a good amount of stuff going for it between Joker, Penguin, really great cover. I thought I'd feature this splash page from the last story. It's that Kilowatt Cowboys. This is where they learn about erecting electrical towers. And then they stop some copper thieves. It was a good time. I just thought it was a fun image. Good splash page intro to the story. The horses on the electrical wires, sparks and electricity everywhere. It's great. All right. Next up, we have Blue Beetle number 35. This is from Fox, October 1944. My favorite punching bag. Yes. And this issue is no different. However, I will try to go a little easier on. So in the first story, Blue Beetle saves kids from gangsters who are after a coded message in the kids' scrap paper pile. Now, this story includes contest winners where the kids could write in with a photo. So we saw that last issue, kids could write in with a photo. And this is it. So I thought it was actually great that they, Fox Comics actually followed through with their contest and they had the kids show up in the story. So you got 3 of the kids there being featured. I mean, it seems like they give their address as to where they actually live in this story as well at some point. So I thought that was kind of interesting. That was pretty neat. So yeah, real neat. So you know what? I'm gonna give credit to Fox Comics here and Blue Beetle. Still looks a little goofy in the artwork, but whatever. Hopefully the kids are true to what they actually look like in real life, but who knows? In the second story, Blue Beetle stopped the Saturnians from using a prism to direct the sun's rays to drive the city into a panic. Now, this is chapter 2 from the storyline of the threat from Saturn. So between this and there's another story arc with Peachy Pet later on that we'll talk about. It seems to be, there's not a lot of story arcs that carry over from issue to issue in these stories. This seems to be one of the few, along with the Peachy Pet one. So there you go. Last story, Blue Beetle figures out that a guardian is trying to murder his 3 wards to gain their inheritance. All right, so because Blue Beetle is my favorite punch bag, I thought this was great. So Blue Beetle and 3 kids he's trying to help out. One in the top left corner who has like no eyes. And really their faces are pretty basic. I mean, I can do that. Boop, 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 couple dots, and there's your face. Anyway, he jumps out of the plane with the three kids hanging on. Top left panel. Top right panel, he's swooping down and flying towards the bad guys. Now, not only does he take out the bad guys, but now the kids who have, I don't know, no training at all are taking out bad guys as well. But that's fine. You got to make them heroic in their own story. But then it's the middle right panel that also is a problem where, well, now he's just flying over rooftops with the kids again and just taking out. So he's, before he was like, yeah, I'll give him, maybe he was gliding down, but now he's clearly flying. I'm like, come on. It's just, we'll just give him all sorts of whatever powers works for the story. Sure. All right. Next up, Captain America 42. This is a timely issue from October of 1944. This is the first 52-page issue, and that's down from 60 pages the previous issues. It's an Alex Schomburg cover, so of course, lots of detail, lots of pain. One guy getting smacked, one guy getting hit in the face with a baseball bat. I don't know why, but that seems like it hurts the most out of the cover, even though some people are getting shot at, and one guy's getting shot in the back, and another guy getting shot in the gut. That's Alex Schomburg for you. A little blood, a little bit, a couple guards there lying in the ground. One in a pool of blood. Yeah, that's it. That's Captain America. That's Bucky. They're doing their job. So in this issue, Captain America and Bucky head to Japan and discover an underground tunnel that is being used by the Japanese military to invade America. So this is, I mean, all right, like you gotta, yeah, this is one of those stories where you gotta take it with a grain of salt because somehow the Japanese secretly built the tunnel from Japan to the US. Now, I don't want to, maybe take away from their great achievement, but that would take forever to do. And somebody would have noticed, but whatever. Then the Human Torch and Toro catch Nazi spies that took photos of secret military blueprints. Captain America and Bucky watch as a millionaire is killed by a man of war placed in his pool by a scientist out for revenge. Captain America and Bucky are guarding top military officials at an old castle when they are drugged and kidnapped. And then the two heroes save the day. All right, so what's interesting about this issue, and I'll point it out to you, maybe you can see it on the cover there. Boop. It says it's a 10-cent issue. However, it's 15 cents in Canada. Now, this is the first time I've seen this on a timely issue. I haven't seen it on any DC issues. I know that, in this day and age, certainly comic books have different prices in Canada and the US, and they have for many, many years. But a 50% price increase seems really steep. Like, I tried looking. I can't find out what the difference was between the Canadian dollar and the US dollar. I don't know if there was that much disparity, maybe. But what I'm thinking is maybe it had to do with the shipping costs, getting across the border. Maybe wasn't as easy to do back then. I don't know, but that just seems like a steep price increase. And you got a page reduction in this issue. Yeah, less pages going over to Canada, and they got to pay 50% more. Anyways, in this issue, I thought it was pretty neat that you have Captain America doing a cross-panel lunge. I thought it was really neat. Just that in the middle of the page, you have Captain America lunging and hitting a guy with his shield, but it crosses the panel, which I think is great. This is where you see the difference between artists and the layouts, where you have interesting panel layouts, characters breaking out of those panels. It's great because it really makes a difference in the story and makes it more exciting and less stiff, more interesting, more fluid. All right, next up, Captain Marvel Adventures number 40. This is from Fawcett, October 1944. Captain Marvel takes the place of a butler to look after some orphans until it's determined which one of them is a long lost heir to a fortune. Sure, it's his babysitter. Great. Captain Marvel solves the mystery of the hunchback who kills for revenge every time he rings the tower bell. Captain Marvel uncovers the thugs trying to get their own boy to take the mayor's office because they will have full legal powers instead of the boy with the highest marks. And it's meant to be just as a token sort of position for a day. Captain Marvel escapes Mr. Mind's Black Death Ray because it can only dissolve metal. But now Billy Batson faces a bullet. And this is chapter 19 of 25 of the serial. Oh, right. So this is the other story. So I guess there are a few story arcs going on right now. It still irks me because it's just a few pages. So it's like a Sunday morning comic strip kind of thing that follow weekly. These guys, I just wish they used more pages to tell the story and do it across fewer issues. But maybe that's how they wanted to hook you in. I don't know. So one character I thought might be interesting to showcase in this issue. So Billy Batson has a helper assistant. His name's Steamboat, and he's very, very unacceptable character these days. This is a character that was portrayed clearly very commonly at the time, but these days you can't get away with that kind of thing. It's no way. So I assume this Steamboat character doesn't get out of the golden age. I haven't researched it, but no way you're going to see him portrayed this way in this day and age. Captain Marvel Jr., number 24. This is from Fawcett, October 1944. Pretty interesting kind of cover. Not the greatest scan of the cover, but I do like the cover. Captain Marvel Jr. falls for a trap set by Professor Vulture and his trained eagles. Now, Vulture does not have an E, so Vultur. But Vulture seems to be a common foe in a lot of issues in the 1940s. Captain Marvel Jr. steps in for a matador that gets cold feet. And then finally, Captain Marvel Jr. deals with the weatherman. Is the being who controls the weather, guy on the cover there. He deals with the weatherman's tantrum as he sends all sorts of terrible weather after people do nothing but complain about him. I thought this was interesting. So Freddie Freeman takes a trip to Mexico. This is the story where he steps in for the matador. So he's in Mexico, and under his arm, he's still selling his papers. Like it's just funny. He's like, all right, well, I'm going to take a trip. I'm going to go on vacation, and I'm going to sell my papers at the same time. Why not? All right, here we have Detective Comics number 92, DC, October 1944. Robin does look a little worried until Batman shows up. Not the greatest illustration of Batman on the cover. A few things just don't look right with him. So in this issue, I only read the Batman and Robin story, and they get on the trail of some thugs who start turning other crooks over for rewards. Batman and Robin get on the trail of some thugs who start turning in other crooks for reward money, and then breaking crooks out of prison so that they can turn them in for the reward again. So turning the crooks in for reward was fine. The problem was when they break them out of jail so that a reward would be posted, and then turning them in again. You can't do that. Okay, Flash Comics number 58, DC, October 1944. We got Merman meets the Flash, Merman on the cover. The Flash finds himself battling a slippery foe called the Merman, who steals loot and then hides underwater. So let's have a look at the next panel the next slide, because it goes with it. So I kind of circled the top left here with my fancy pencil tool that did not make a great circle, but it's funny. It just scientists have claimed it's possible for man to evolve from fish-like form of life. That although by nature a warm-blooded land mammal, land animal man could learn to live in the water. So saying, oh, warm-blooded animal man could learn to live in the water. Yeah, his name's Aquaman, and he is a DC character. Come on, guys, read your own stuff. Anyway, I just thought it's interesting that the suit that he has on, you'll see even on the cover, he's wearing a suit underwater. No swim trunks, not stripping down. Just, oh no, I'll just wear my suit every time I go in the water. No costume change for this guy. Come on, poor planning. All right, Johnny Thunder sends in his Thunderbolt to pose as Peachy Pet to do stunts for a movie after the real Peachy Pet storms off. This is part of that story arc. So I guess we got 3 story arcs going on. Hawkman and Hawkgirl track down an escaped convict hiding in the woods, using a lake as a transmitter to send a radio message to his fellow gangsters. Next up, Marvel Mystery Comics number 59. This is from Timely, October 1944. Again, you can see that 50 cents in Canada on the cover. So it seems to us, I guess this month in October 44 is when Timely decided that they were going to increase the price of the books in Canada by 50%. This is an Alex Schomburg cover. This is also just Alex Schomburg cover. Sorry. So of course, Torch and Toro blasting through the wall, signature move. You got that. Looks like everyone's wearing gas masks, poison gas everywhere. Poor soldiers. Torch and Toro show up in time, right? Human Torch and Toro are up against Professor Svengali and his gigantic robot army. Submariner battles the Master of Death and his electric eels that can kill humans and destroy ships. Miss America stumbles upon some Nazis looking to steal a torpedo to blow up a dam. The Patriot is taken captive by a man who collects severed heads. And finally, the Angel plays a dead man's voice using a Victrola to get his twin brother to confess to the murder. I don't know, like, I didn't feature the panel, but somehow he had the dead man's voice on the Victrolas on these records, right? Saying, why did you do it? Why did you do this to me? Like, I can understand having the dead man's voice on the records, but accusing the guy of killing him after you're dead, I don't know how he got that specific recording. That was pretty fantastical. All right, what do we got here? We have, oh yeah, I thought it was interesting. He's got, it's like another DC reference. I just thought it was interesting because in a previous Submariner story, he mentioned the Green Lantern and now on the bottom left panel, he's saying, come on down to my level, Superman. And I guess the Nazis were talking about being Super Ace and Superman and all that fun stuff. I just thought it was interesting to call them Superman outright again. Why not? Okay, so this, in the Miss America story, they're skipping some stuff here. If you look at these 3 panels, it's very difficult to understand that Miss America and her uncle are traveling through the countryside. Fun. They come upon an accident. Now they're driving away, and now they see somebody being kidnapped, and then Uncle Jim has to run to get back to the gas station to report it. I don't even understand. Why is he running back to the gas station? They still have their car, but he's on foot somehow, and somebody got kidnapped, I guess. Like, it's really, it's, hey, Uncle Jim, what's going on over there? Next thing, they're running after this car because someone's been kidnapped. What? There's, like, I understand for, they had to do this for brevity's sake because the Miss America stories aren't a lot of pages, like 6 or 8 pages. They're very, very short. However, I mean, they're skipping chunks of the story, so we have no idea. And to be fair, it was only alluded to that the bad guys would want to kidnap some scientist's daughter. And they only knew later on that that's what happened in these panels because they had the scientist's daughter, but don't even refer to her. They just have her. Like you're missing some really important plot details here. And I understand you don't have a lot of panels to explain that all in, but you know, to put in the bare minimum at least. All right. Next up, Master Comics number 55. This is from Fawcett, October 1944. This is the first 36-page issue. That's down from 44 previously. And who do you have in the top left of this issue? I like to use Blue Beetle as my punching bag. And Radar, he's like the opposite. He's like my hero. I love that guy. It's fantastic. I really wish, I was thinking, I was reading this issue and I was thinking, oh, this guy's like an international policeman. It's like James Bond, good with the women, good looking guy, but he's got a couple superpowers. Man, that guy, I would watch a movie or a show with this guy, with that character. That'd be awesome. This is something they should put on, they should bring out. I'd love it. I'll get to work on that for you guys. Radar poses as another international policeman who has been kidnapped with $2 million in gold in order to draw out the bad guys. It's kind of funny. This is a bunch of oil magnates here. We're having a little discussion, and one guy gets accused of stealing $2 million worth of oil. So he's like, "Hey, you have to give up $2 million worth of gold." And the guy's like, "All right." He's not happy about it, and he's scheming to get the money back. I just thought that it's funny that in the right hand panel there, the guy, here's the money. There's $2 million worth of gold in this sack. There's no clear indication that these guys understand how much $2 million worth of gold would weigh in 1944, and how much space that would take up. That bag is not sufficient. I just thought it was funny. In the Captain Marvel Jr. story, he battles a rubber man created by Dr. Savannah. And this rubber man's guided by Dr. Savannah's emotions. Now, here's something interesting. Now, this is just after the Captain Marvel story. I thought it was really neat. So, and I'll read it to you because just give it better my explanation. This will much better give it some justice here. When Japan captured Java, our supply of kapok for life belts and flying units was cut off. But scientists have found that the common milkweed pods can do the job of kapok. Here's what you can do. Collect ripe milkweed pods in the early fall when they are turning brown. Put pods into 1 bushel onion bags and other open mesh sacks. Fill sacks, tie tops, and turn in at once to buying station or hang up on fence for drying. Remember, 2 bags of milkweed pods can fill a life jacket and save a life. I just thought that was really neat. It's just another thing that's trying to get people to help with the war effort through recycling scrap metals, paper, oils, milkweed pods. Like it's really interesting that they're really trying to pool everyone's resources to do it. And I thought it was a really neat thing. Definitely different era. Okay, last comic on the list. Mystic Comics number 1. Okay, so this is the first issue of volume 2. This is from Timely. It's October 1944. Again, the Timely issue in October, so it's 15 cents in Canada, obviously. Whatever. You have a bondage cover here. I don't know if this is, as sexy as the other bondage covers. She's wearing like a more formal uniform. But in this issue, the angel tracks down the angel tracks down a circus acrobat that blew up stands full of soldiers and attempts to kill other circus performers to cover up his crime. Human Torch and Toro go underground to stop the Nazis' mechanical mole just as it starts to cause havoc in New York City. So that's it. It's another number 1 issue. We haven't seen one of those in a while. It was kind of fun. All right. So now we've gone through the 10 issues, but I just thought it might be, I'm more of a visual person. So to try to remember which one of these was the more valuable issue, or the one that is selling best in the market right now, I thought that'd be kind of difficult. So I thought, what if I put together a collage of all the covers? That way everyone can go back, can get a refresher and see. So which one of these issues do you think is going to be the one that has the highest sales? And it's tough because they sell in different grades, and I'm going by CGC sales. But just to recap, Batman issue 25 has cool cover, Joker Penguin story. Blue Beetle, he does what he does. He's the kids from the contest, I guess. Captain America 42 is Schomburg cover, right? Captain Marvel Adventures, number 40, Captain Marvel Jr., number 24. Dr. Savannah was in that issue. No, Dr. Savannah was not in it. That was in the Master Comics, sorry. You have Detective Comics, Batman and Robin, Flash Comics, Meets a Merman, Marvel Mystery Comics, another Schomburg cover, and then Master Comics again. Radar, that's where Dr. Savannah was. And then you have a brand new number 1 issue, although it is a volume 2. So take a look at these covers. Which one do you think would be the most valuable cover? Which one, or most valuable issue? Which one gets the MVP? All right, here's the big reveal. Ready? Hacha. So out of all these issues, it seems to me that Marvel Mystery Comics number 59 is the highest priced comic book out of them. And highest price, I mean, demands the most dollars. Currently, you have a 7.0 from February of 2021 that sold for $2,050. And when I'm comparing these, I try to compare, like I try to give like the most recent sale, and then I try to compare different grades, right? So if I'm comparing like that Batman 25, and like, yeah, it only sold for 910 at 4.0. So that's not a fair comparison, right? But I compared the 7.0 grade for the Batman because it had a fair market value on Go Collect, and it's lower than this Marvel Mystery Comics. To be fair, I would have thought the Captain America comics with the Schomburg cover, I thought that would be a good contender. Mystic Comics, I thought would have been a little higher too, being a number 1, but I guess it's number 1, but there's not really, you're talking about the Angel and Human Torch, so maybe those aren't the biggest draws. Detective Comics 92, at 9.2, it sold for 52.80 in November of 2020. That's a big chunk of change. It's a big book for sure. I mean, look, as usual, the Marvel family, Captain Marvel Jr. and his Master Comics and his own self-titled issue, and then Captain Marvel Adventures, those guys aren't generally the ones that command the big bucks. So I don't think there's any surprises there. Flash Comics, it's a decent price, but it's also not something that draws the big bucks. I mean, it's a lot more than the Marvel family books. Blue Beetle. Now, Blue Beetle is interesting because I couldn't find a recent CGC sale for this. There's only 3 on the census, and I couldn't even look at the recent sale. So, I mean, really, what I did was I took the fair market value, which was being shown in Go Collect, which Go Collect does show it for certain issues. I compared the 7.0 of Blue Beetle to the Marvel Mystery Comics just to get like a fair comparison of grades. So it's $270, and the 7.0 is what they expect this book to fetch. But there's only 3 on the census, and I believe the 3 on the census are actually something like a 9.0 and a 9.2, but they hadn't. The most recent sale I could find was from 2019 through Comic Connect, but I couldn't. When I clicked on the link, it gave an error, so it didn't have the actual dollar figure from it. And then the previous sale for that was from 2015, so I just said forget it, and I'll just compare current fair market value. Again, there's only 3 on the CGC census, so it seems to be one of the more rare books on this in this group of 10. So you have it. Hopefully you like the new format. You get to see all the price in black and white. I know I'm a pretty visual guy. You get to see all the covers again. So it's pretty neat. So that's it. So for all the issues, for all the episodes, what I'd like to do is run through the issues. All right. Well, thank you very much. That's the last step. That's it for the episode. And thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Hopefully you like the new format with the pricing at the end. And we will, I'll see if I can do it again next time. Hopefully you guys will love it. Thanks very much.